What is going on, Outfitters? Hope everybody is having a very wonderful Hump Day Wednesday. The market's having a pretty decent day. Not exactly the bounce back day you would really want to be seeing if you're trying to be bullish. You bought the dip yesterday, but it is. I mean, it is a nice bounce today. SPY is up 0.5%, and it kind of makes sense. Yesterday we were kind of talking on live stream that hey, if we see the sell down kind of continue as we go further into the afternoon, like people are going to try and buy the dip. We were getting pretty close to the 20 moving average EMA, on the daily time frame, and if we kind of bounce by the close, or if we bounce early today, just expect it's probably going to be happening sometime soon. Well, the last 30 minutes, 35 minutes of yesterday's price action, we got a very strong bounce. Let me just zoom out, just show the whole thing here. So yeah, I mean, we rolled over, and you can see how strong that rally was there at the end of the day. It was pretty sharp. It was pretty quick. It was pretty deadly if you were trying to be short right there. So nice little gap up today, and it's kind of just been a sideways day. Not too much has kind of gone on. A little bit of a bullish pop here. Kind of first hour to start the day. Second hour and maybe an hour and a half there, just kind of just rolled over down to the daily lows. Nice little push higher here over the past couple hours. A little bit of a quick pullback there. Intraday, I mean, this looks like an inverted head and shoulders. Got a little shoulder neckline, head, kind of another neckline right here, shoulder there. We tried to break out here. Well, we did kind of break out of that neckline there about 30 minutes ago, but we are definitely rolling back down here. So either we're retesting into that neckline and we're going to bounce as we go into the end of the day, or maybe we roll over. Now, there's been some other things that have kind of price action that has moved in other areas of the market today that have not been exactly the best. When you look at how the SP 500 SPY has performed today, we'll look at some of that. Anyways, the Qs, kind of the same thing. Nice gap up, kind of traded sideways. Not too much indifferent from the open. Qs are currently up about 0.6%. IWM is getting a little bit of that buyback. And I mean, it got absolutely annihilated yesterday. Currently up about 1.9%. You see it's pretty much sideways there for the first half of the day. And then here the past couple hours, nice little bullish trend. Yeah, nice gap up there on the IWM, looking pretty good. DIA, a little more of a choppy kind of breakdown kind of throughout the day. Kind of interesting. You can see that inverted head and shoulders kind of pattern here. So it's been negative a few times throughout the day. So DIA not exactly doing all that great, just barely positive. RSP up 0.6%. Nice gap up, kind of just chopping throughout the day. Not too much indifferent from where we opened at. So there you go. That is how kind of they look on the intraday. See how we look on the day. Nice little push higher here on the RSP. Kind of nice little lower wick there yesterday. Not doing too much today. Kind of mentioned it yesterday. You're probably going to be moving your stop losses below either the low of yesterday, or maybe if we didn't finish yesterday with a strong rally and we broke down just a little bit this morning, you're probably going to put your low below to this morning. Well, we actually had a pretty good rally right there at the end of the last 30 minutes there yesterday. So yeah, that's probably where you're moving your stop losses right now. It's definitely so on the SPY and Qs. We'll take a look at that. But yeah, here on the RSP, it makes sense as well. If we break that, you're probably just looking to come down to the 50 EMA, which is not too far below it. I expect some kind of bounce down there if we do get down there, but depending upon how long it might take, like if it happens soon, I would say your stop losses are probably set below today, or you're probably just moving your stop losses below the 50 EMA. You say, hey, you know what? I don't mind giving up, maybe a point here, because we do bounce off that 50. I don't want to be like I got triggered out getting below some of these lows. Yeah, that makes sense. I can understand that on the RSP. RSP just looks a little bit different than some of the others. That's all. DIA, you're definitely moving stop losses right below the low that we put in yesterday. That makes sense. A little bit more room here to fall down to the 50 EMA. So makes sense to probably put your stop losses below that spot. IWM hasn't really broken this 50 EMA. It's bounced off it twice. Almost got to it yesterday. So I'd say you probably have maybe stop losses maybe back below this low. Yeah, that's kind of what I'd be saying. Maybe below the 50 a little bit. Around like 191.5 or so. Yeah, I don't know. IWM is a little bit tougher, but I can understand having a little bit more of a loose one. The Q's obviously bouncing off the 20 EMA again. This is one where I would definitely be having stop losses just below that level. Let me right about there. So that's where I would have it. Stop, boom, and that's probably just where you're looking to have your stop losses there for the Qs, because we're not. I mean, not to say that we're not up and positive, and it looks like we're having a kind of a good day, but I mean, I'm just now looking at the market. I mean, when I was talking about the Qs just a bit ago on the intraday, we were up 0.6%, and now we're only up like a third. So we just dropped off there a little bit. And that's kind of the other thing is like today we're just not seeing the consistent, like when we bounce back over here the day after, look at that nice follow through, bullish bounce back over here. We got the bounce the next day, bounce. It's not looking like we were going to roll over. It was looking pretty good. Here we bounced. Well, we got to follow through back in the bullish direction. So once you finally got the bounce, the next day should be strong. And we're not seeing that today. Not to say that maybe we don't see that by the end of the day, but for now, I would just be saying stop losses below yesterday low. That's where I would have them. Because if we break that down, maybe by the end of the week, possible, then yeah, you're probably talking about we got a pretty good air pocket, at least down to the 50 here on the SPY, 50 EMA that is, and then maybe back below, probably back below this low as well, or at least down to that level. That's a pretty good pocket there. It's a pretty good pocket. So, anyways, that to me, that's probably where you're looking to have stop losses. And I was not saying, we break that level where you're going bearish. I think, if we take out this zone, then maybe you could talk about looking at bearish setups or something like that. But for now, I wouldn't worry about it. And here's the other one, AAPL. Now, I've not been a bull on AAPL for much of the past 2 years, mostly because I feel like they just don't have great growth prospects in the areas where tech is growing, right? And that's, to me, that is the problem with AAPL. It's just they're getting mature. That's it. They're not a bad business, but people don't go chase. You don't see rapid rises in stock prices unless they have good growth prospects, right? Nvidia, for example. So AAPL being down over 1% today when the market's up, it has been up positive all day, and AAPL just continues to sell down. It's at the lows of the day. That's not the best look. It's just not a great look. So this is gonna be a very tough one for the market to kind of overlook, as this is still one of the largest weightings on the stock market. And you see the Microsoft's barely negative. This is another one that's not performing all that great. Kind of getting sandwiched in between here in the 10 and 20 EMAs on the daily time frame. Kind of just neutral there for the day. Definitely could see us breaking down here over the next day or two. So you get the two largest stocks out there in the stock market, not exactly looking great. AAPL, people seem to be kind of done with it. I mean, maybe like retail investors that have poured money into Apple over the past 15 years. Maybe they are continuing to do it, but Microsoft also not looking all that great. I think big time investors are looking at them and like, yeah, you know what? They don't really have, especially on AAPL, they don't just have the greatest of growth prospects going forward. Microsoft, to me, has a little bit more defensive growth kind of going forward. I wouldn't say like aggressive growth going forward, but anyways, it's kind of the way I look at those two, and just kind of the stock market, being positive when you have the two largest stocks out there. Actually, not even positive, negative. AAPL's down pretty good amount. Take a look at the VIX. VIX coming back down. Whoa, VIX had a pretty good spike yesterday. Wow, VIX did get. That's. Oh my gosh. This is what's so concerning on the market. It's just how much. The market was down 1.5%, 2% at the lows yesterday. 2% at the lows yesterday. I don't even know why I said 1.5. It's about 2% at the lows, maybe a little bit more. And it's just like the VIX just like went into crazy panic mode. It's like we didn't even break major trend levels. This is, yeah, just such an interesting time. People are so ready to hit the panic button for any kind of pullback. It'd be really interesting to see what happens going forward if we do see some bearish moves. Anyways, VIX seeing a little bit of a pullback today. Maybe the VIX is breaking out in here, which would be really weird because typically VIX does not lead the bullish the VIX does not lead up too much. Usually the VIX will typically so the VIX in like normal market topping patterns, the VIX will bottom before the stock market tops, but the VIX will not explode higher before we see massive downsides coming from the market. Is basically kind of what I was trying to say. So, anyways, this is a very interesting move on the VIX yesterday. I didn't realize it got as high as it did. I kind of looked at it yesterday, but on the live stream, I didn't look at it later. That's a pretty crazy move there. DXY, pulling back a little bit. I'm gonna go intraday here because one of the things I want to show you here, 15-minute time. You know what? I'll go to 5-minute because. So right here is about when the stock market opened. You see the dollars pulling back basically throughout the day up until about an hour ago. Pretty steady pullback. But you look at the SPY and it's like the SPY hasn't done anything. You would have thought the SPY would have been bullish off that dollar move, and yet it's not. So that's kind of what I was alluding to starting out. Of there's some price action here going on today that should be more favorable for bullish movements throughout the day, and we're just not seeing that in the stock market. So just kind of interesting. Anyways, dollar pulling back. Gold also down a little bit. Not really doing horrible. Kind of more flat than anything else. It's kind of interesting that gold is down a little bit, but not a huge move, so not a big deal. Yields is also one, just like the dollar. Look at the 5-minute. Nice, steady decline, basically from about 30 minutes to the market opened, 30 minutes before the market opened, to about an hour ago. We just saw a steady decline. Again, the S&P 500. Well, we didn't see no steady rising. We saw a little bit of pop there in the first hour. But outside of a couple of uptrends throughout the day, we just haven't really done a whole lot. It hasn't been a greatly strong bullish day. Just mostly just been on the gap side. So it is one that, for how much yields have pulled back yesterday after they exploded higher, I would have thought we would be at least up a little bit more from the open, the stock market open. So yeah, we'll see what happens here over the next couple of days. That's one reason why I would say I would be moving up some stop losses because the market, in my opinion, should be up a little bit more. Maybe we do trade a little bit higher here over the next day or two. I'd be curious to see what the yields and dollar do also over that time period. But it's almost like the yields breakout yesterday, dollar breaking out yesterday, is something that caught a lot of people with concerning eyes. With concerning eyes. So we'll see how things go here over the next couple of days. Yield 10-2 inversion yields. Bouncing back a little bit today. A little bit of a drop day yesterday. Bouncing back a little bit today. So that means 2 years definitely dropping off pretty good there today. 2 year was really strong yesterday. HYG bouncing back today. Did not really get and solidify that breakdown. Traded a little bit lower than that move to start out the year back in January. Did not hold it. Still kind of in this consolidation. Maybe it is starting to break down, though. Maybe we'll see a breakdown here over the next week or two. We'll see. LQD has definitely broken down. Nice little bounce action today. Although, yields are down pretty good. So you'd expect the bonds to be up a little bit. But the LQD has been breaking down here over the past week. So it might just retest higher and break down. So that doesn't look good for bond yields either. So TLT bouncing a little bit today. Might maybe just retest into the bottom, this January bottom here, and then maybe roll over. Just kind of a resting day. Yields had a very sharp move yesterday, so it's not like there wasn't a great a reason. It's not like overcoming yesterday's move is going to be like a one-day affair. Yesterday's move on yields was very, very strong. What else? Let's see, sector rotation. Let's see what is the winners of the day. Okay. We got Staples underperforming pretty good. Energy's also underperforming pretty good. You got healthcare underperforming a little bit there. In line with the market, utilities, tech, financials, and discretionary is kind of all wrapped in there. You also got materials outperforming, real estate, communications, and industrials. Best performer of the day, up 1.2% on the day. Look at that. All right. Industrials doing pretty good. Underperformers, taking out the gap, no gap. Underperformers intraday. Energies, which is kind of surprising because energy is actually leading the day to start the day there. So XLE underperforming there. Staples also underperforming. Tech underperforming during the day. Outperformers, materials, healthcare, financials, utilities, communications, and real estate, as well as discretionaries and industrials up at the top end of the day. It's kind of just a mixed mash. I'd imagine a lot of people trying to figure out what the heck just happened yesterday and trying to rebalance stuff. So there you go. Let's take a look at some commodities real quick. Take a look at crude oil. So crude oil made a nice little run here for about a week and a half. Maybe it topped. We're going to have a contract roll tomorrow, so be mindful of that. And the other one I really wanted to show, there's two I really want to show, but gasoline had a contract roll yesterday. And for all of those that might be concerned with rising gasoline prices, you will probably see a rise in the pump prices, as we had a contract roll of about 25 cents higher. So expect gasoline to probably go higher here over the next maybe day, or maybe you've already seen it go higher. Anyways, yeah, there you go. Gasoline up pretty sharply on the contract roll. Jeez. Also, heating oil. Heating oil has not yet gotten to its contract roll. It'll come up here at the end of February, but nice little drop off there today. Heating oil dropping pretty good there. Another one I really want to show off, though, is copper futures. Copper's been dropping pretty good here for the month of February. You can see how much has really been dropping. If you don't know the significance of copper, copper is very much a highly watched commodity because of the economic activity it kind of foretells about. If there's not much economic activity, copper does not do well. It kind of is a little bit of a recessionary forecast. If copper's doing well, then people are buying copper, expanding the economy, and all that kind of stuff. So traditionally, legacy has been a very good tell for how the state of the economy, I guess. So, anyways, copper not exactly doing the best here so far in February. All right. So if there's anything you guys want to take a look at, I'm going to end the live stream a little bit early because I'm going to go on lunch with my aunt who's in town. So let me know if there's anything you want to take a look at. Other than that, let's just see what's going on. Inflation timeline takes center stage. Let's take a look at the Fed Watch tool. I'm going to see the CME Fed Watch tool. I'm going to see if it's changed all that much from yesterday. Obviously, we saw a huge change into the hold narrative for obviously a big way in May. March was already pretty much locked into a hold. But May, we saw a huge change into a hold. But now it's kind of giving it back some of it a little bit today. I don't know why it'd be doing that, but it is. And then also for June. So June now looks like the first rate cut, or at least that's what the market is expecting. And we'll see if that happens. Which now July, which as of 2 days ago, we didn't even. Oh, that was a week ago. A week ago, you can even say 2 days ago. A week ago we had like 0 chance of a rate hold in July. Yesterday it moved up to 10%. Today it's at 5.5%. So, I mean, that just kind of tells you how much of an impact that inflation number had yesterday. Kind of a big deal. Let's see. Take a look at the heat map. Yeah, you can see Apple, Microsoft, a little bit positive there. Alphabet's also weighing on the market. Manufacturing doing pretty good. A lot of green there. A lot of red over in Staples. That makes sense with what we saw in sector rotation. Let's take a look at Uber. So if you didn't hear about Uber, they had a crazy earnings release, and basically, let me get to extended hours. So basically, what kind of came out was they had a typo in their earnings report from a financial analyst, basically saying something like 500 basis point growth or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, this 500 basis point number wasn't supposed to be 500 basis point. It was supposed to be 50 basis point. So it's a hugely different number than what was originally reported in the earnings. Apparently, they came out with a correction about that yesterday, and you see Uber doing pretty good. So I didn't really look too much into what that number was pertaining to. I think it was around a growth number. I do know that, but yeah, it's kind of interesting that that they had earnings last week, and you can see it didn't really do a whole lot, and then this week they come out and fix that number and doing a lot better, So typos, and I believe that guy was laid off. I think I saw on Twitter. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, it sucks. Maybe you should fire the executives. They're the one that approve those things, right? They're the ones that sign off on them. Anyways, all right. Yeah, energy's not doing the best. Exxon. People maybe just keep piling out of energies, keep going into tech. That's fine. So, what else is there? Let's take a look at. So, Alphabet's getting hit a little bit. Nice little gap up there on Alphabet. Meta, gap up. Not really doing anything. It's a really small day there on Alphabet or on Meta. Not doing a whole lot. Amazon, hanging out. Up a little bit. Not really doing a whole lot. Okay. How's Tesla doing? Bouncing a little bit. I think I saw something. People trying to make this connection where we had a huge drop off. So you got shoulder, neckline, head, neckline, possibly shoulder? Question mark. Or are we in this continuation of a downtrend? I mean, we'll find out here in the next couple of days. If we can make it back up to this neckline level, you're probably looking pretty good to be bullish on it. But I would still rather wait for that breakout, and then you're probably looking to at least take it back to this gap fill level. But if we just kind of go sideways here in for a couple days, we don't really get back up to this 193 to 195 type level. You're probably looking for a rollover here towards the second half of February. Yeah, and if yields push higher, it probably will happen as well. So there you go. TSLA. NVIDIA. How's NVIDIA? We making all-time highs yet? No. Man, 2 days without all-time highs on NVIDIA. What is this market coming to? We got to sell it all, baby. Sell it all. Ridiculous. AMD, nice basing pattern here that we've put in over the past almost a month, 2/3 of a month. Look pretty good here. Yeah, I'd say that looks pretty good. Nice little basing pattern. Let me see here. Yeah, that is all-time highs. I believe. I gotta go back to the 2000s. I think that's all-time highs, but verify. Yeah, that is all-time highs. So, this looks really good. I mean, I like this basic. You broke out all-time highs. You've retested kind of like 2 times, and now you're starting to curl up. Looks pretty good. If we get over this little high that we had back on February 5th, I think you're looking pretty good to be bullish. So, anyways, AMD. There you go. The big issue for NVIDIA, you can go back to that, is competition. It's so easy in the beginning when you are the one that has cut the road through the forest and now everybody's using it. And then you realize, oh, wow, there is demand through this forest. And then everybody else starts cutting their own pathway. It's one that they are starting to see quite a bit of competition. Even their own customers are kind of being competitors. Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, and Tesla for a while back. Meta. I mean, these are all companies that are customers of theirs, but they're all trying to develop their own AI chips, and they've been doing this. They've been trying to do this for, over a year and a half, 2 years. But NVIDIA just kind of got the better package together last year, so NVIDIA is not going to be able to hold on to that. And that's kind of the problem. And I know there's a lot of people making similarities, some comparisons to NVIDIA and Cisco back in the tech bubble, back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Kind of Cisco, when Cisco had that rapid rise. What happened with Cisco? I mean, they got massive competition that stepped in. A huge amount of competition. Wow. Everybody wants that kind of service. Okay, so there's going to be other companies, whether they're your direct competitors or even just your own competition. That's like, dude, I'm not going to pay you 70% margin or 100% margin. I'm going to go develop my own, and I'm going to save myself 80% margin, you know, you know, so, or 100 and really like 130% margin. So, anyways, Nvidia, I mean, it's a tough one. It's one, it, I mean, it's on liftoff mode. It's going to go to where it goes and then it's going to stop, but it's one that you can't play unless you play with options. I wouldn't commit a huge amount of capital to this because once it tops out, it's gonna be coming right back down. So, anyways, there's that. How's Intel? Intel's up 1.8% today, looking pretty good. Average Joe gapped up, sold down, a little bit negative, nothing kind of crazy there. Qualcomm's up 1 3/4. All right, looking pretty good there. Micron pulling back, a little bit of a gap up, trading down, kind of flat, not really doing a whole lot. All right, Micron definitely below that 50 EMA, so we have a pretty large pocket here. I'm not gonna say large pocket, but about a 5% move, 5% or so move down. Yeah, about 5% move down to that 100. That looks pretty practical, in my opinion. So, all right, I think that'll probably mostly do it for me. Unless there's something that you guys got real quick, I'm gonna get ready to go lunch with my aunt. So yeah, we'll see if the market rallies here going into the close. But it has been a pretty lackluster day, even with dollar and yields dropping throughout the day. Maybe we'll see the market be a little bit more bullish as we go into close. So, have fun, have a great rest of the day. Take care.